Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Grubby and Lucifron. Surprisingly, Grubby is the orange Protoss player spawning over here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom left hand side, we do have Lucifron spawning as the green Terran. Now I say surprisingly because Grubby has chosen green for quite some time as his color of choice, and Lucifron, having played against Grubby for many years in Warcraft 3, should know this, so I don't know if this was a little bit of a jab in the face to Grubby taking his color, as Grubby and Lucifron are now currently going at it. Now this is going to be, I believe, a best of 3 series, and also this is from DreamHack. So I thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for listening. If you guys don't already know, I do have a Facebook page. You guys can follow me on there or follow me on Twitter, Crota_US West. If this is your first time watching, please subscribe, as I can always use more subscribers. Now, Grubby moving out and doing a rather standard scout here, going for a 14 scout, will be able to scout out his opponent. Meanwhile, Lucifron is going to be going into what I believe to be a 1-Rax expansion, which is gasless. This has been a standard play coming in from Terran players as of late. What they can do is that they can build the wall off here, so it looks like so they have no idea what's going on. So Grubby then has to assume either A, his opponent is going for a fast expansion, or B, his opponent is going for very heavy tech. A rather difficult call to make. Grubby unable to get inside here. You can see that this one supply depot is taking a little bit of damage, but that supply depot should end up being saved and salvaged right there. There is an SCV brought over just in time, and that probe will not be able to take it down whatsoever. And with that, this supply depot and Lucifron will be able to execute his strategy without Grubby knowing or being any of the wiser. Now, what we're going to take a look at here is Lucifron maybe trying to set up a command center here or here. He doesn't want to set it quite up on the low ground. Oh no, the Marine is in position. There you go. The probe is going to be backed away. Is this SCV going to build a command center? Not quite yet, as the command center is being built here. So Lucifron is deploying the tactic, making sure to build that command center inside his own base so that it will not be scouted out for quite some time. Now Grubby is still playing in the dark. He has to assume that perhaps there will be cloaked banshees, and at some point he is going to be throwing down a robotics facility. It is always one of those strategies where if you are able to head fake your opponent, that is always a huge advantage. Lucifron now coming in and establishing an engineering bay at the natural expansion, and Lucifron is going to be delayed in trying to set up his nexus. Now this strategy is particular to Wings of Liberty, as Protoss players do get an earlier air detector in the mothership core, and that mothership core is then able to just activate an ability and spot that Banshee. Now let's take a look at what's going on here. Lucifron has yet to build any additional refineries, and now building up a 3rd command center. I was wondering where he is spending all of his resources, and he is going a very heavy economic game. Now, by being able to train up this many SCVs at a time, he should be able to fully saturate on 2 bases, if not 3, in just a moment. Now, a bunker on the high ground here. The Stalker and the Zealot now not going to be able to do that much damage at all, and we'll see what the follow-up strategy will be. This is still all double barracks, and now finally establishing that double gas, which is oh so necessary. Alright, robotics facility now coming online. I believe an observer will be coming out first. Grubby naturally assumes that there is some sort of aggressive play behind this, but Lucifron going unconventional strategy, setting up 3 command centers before even setting up 3 barracks. And this is going to turn into a very heavy economic advantage for Lucifron if he's able to hold off the next attack. Grubby still sitting on the top right hand side of the map. He does not have any forges, so he's not going to be able to go into the all-important weapons upgrade or that arms race. Grubby, you can tell that he is very concerned about those cloaked banshees by rallying this observer off over here. Normally, the observer is used to scout out relatively early, and Grubby right now still doesn't know what Lucifron's strategy is, which is a real benefit for Lucifron. Now, an additional problem that Lucifron has, though, is that he is very, very far behind in tech. He still does not have his factory. He has a strong economy, but with a strong economy, if he doesn't have a factory or anything else, he is not going to be able to utilize these Marines and Marauders to their fullest, even with Stim, Concussive Shell, and Combat Shield. He needs to get a factory. He needs to get down a starport with a reactor in order to double train up medevacs before he can make a move. Now, Grubby, during this time, if he had sent out the observer a bit earlier, he should have been able to scout out and see what exactly Lucifron is doing. A good Protoss player or a professional player in general will click on these refineries to figure out when the gas was taken. Also, taking a look, he will see that there is a third orbital command currently in place. Based upon the energy, he knows that that one orbital command has been around for quite some time, at least able to spawn almost a second mule, as the observer is just going to be flying straight up over these Marines. Are these Marines going to catch this? It looks like they are just going to be retreating back here, as this observer is now trying to look for what is currently going on. Lucifron establishing up his third base at the 9-minute mark. Grubby will catch this, and Grubby realizes where he went wrong. He is now going to transition into a very, very heavy attack play. He knows that he doesn't have the necessary he knows he doesn't have the necessary economy to really play or catch up at this point. He may try to throw down a Nexus, or he's going to at least punish this very greedy move by Lucifron. Stalkers and Zealots making their way in. We should have a liftoff here in just a moment. It looks as though the Marauders and the Marines do not want to make their way over. A Sentry is now making their way over as well, and we should be able to perhaps get some force fields down, as we do see SCVs now doing a retreat back. Here we have it. The Marines and the Marauders are now charging in. SCVs are leading the way, since they do have a little bit more hit points and would absorb some of the damage, or a lot of the damage, that the Marines and the Marauders do not want to take. Observers in two very key positions here, able to keep track of all these units and what is going to go down. Zealots, Stalkers, Sentries decide not to engage here. Taking a look at the unit combinations, about even, but the Marines are going to be getting that level 1 weapons upgrade soon. Now, with level 1 ground armor and perhaps Guardian Shield, the Sentries, Zealots, and Stalkers could have actually pushed in and damaged very heavily, but it looks as though Grubby does not want to engage at this point. Not very sure at all, as the concussive shells have not been upgraded. Colossus now joining in on the fight, and the Colossus, without extended thermal lance range, how much damage can it really do? A second Colossus now being added as well. We may be trying to transition perhaps into Zealot Archon. Zealot charge with Archons from that High Templar. If we do see a Templar Archives, could be a very, very key play, as the Marauders are now pushing over here at the third base of Grubby. Now, Harvester count is 58 to 58, but the Mule advantage is still very high. Colossus now making their way over. 3 force fields only to kill 1 Marine. Not very well placed at all, as Lucifron looks like he will be able to counter Grubby in just a second. Quad training up Vikings. Those 4 Vikings, eventually 8 or even 12, will be able to shut down all of those units in just a matter of seconds. Now, Grubby perhaps trying to go on the offensive, realizing that his defensive play early on was all just a mind trap and a head fake from Lucifron. 1-1 upgrades have been completed for the Marines, Marauders. However, 1-1 upgrades are now going to be finished for Grubby by the next fight, as Stalkers are now moving out. We can take a look. Grubby is running up on 6 gas. Income is significantly higher for Lucifron. He is most likely, yes, mining away with these mules. And with so many mules in play, 5 mules, he is going to be strip mining this base rather quickly. The problem is that he does not want to call in mules back at his home. He does not want to strip mine at his home. Otherwise, he is going to be forced to take another expansion very, very quickly. Lucifron now going to be building up another command center, trying to establish up his fourth while pushing pressure onto Grubby. Grubby does have Stalkers. He will have Blink here in just a moment, as the Stalkers now need to get away. Still no concussive cell, and a bad Blink by Grubby there. Not really blinking anywhere at all, as the Zealots are now going to be coming in for a charge. Force fields do go down. Zealots are out of position, and now High Templar are in position as well. We can see a couple of units have been taken down. So many Vikings of Lucifron now lost, and that is going to be a bad loss there, as well as now the Marines and the Marauders do need to back off. The Vikings are looking for free units to attack. The Stalkers are now engaging against the Vikings here in the backfield, as the Colossi are now making their way forward. More and more units are going to get taken down. It looks as though the Vikings are going to fall, and Lucifron, who I thought had a huge advantage, is now on the ropes. A little bit of miscontrol with a couple of Vikings, and now Lucifron being forced to retreat all the way back home. How much damage can he really absorb here? All right. And we can see Stalkers are blinking forward. Are we perhaps going to see some Psystorm? There is one force field. The Vikings are going to be engaging. There's a Psystorm there, not really hitting much, as the Vikings are able to shoot down and mow through the two Colossus. Grubby not very heavy on the Colossi. Could not afford to lose all of these Colossus needlessly, and that's exactly what he did. Now it looks as though the Zealots and the High Templar are now coming in around the far side here. They are going to reinforce, and this may be a bit of a problem, as Archons are going to be replacing the Colossus that were lost. All right, in comes this one Colossus now. Vikings going to be coming in from the corner. Are we perhaps going to see some Psystorm? The Vikings now trying to come in from the back. Sentries are there as well. Colossus will get taken down, but not before two beautiful Psystorms hit. There is a third and a fourth, as the Archons now repositioning. Lucifron perhaps curious as to where all of these Archons and Zealots were coming from, and Lucifron caught out of position very, very quickly. Gonna be losing perhaps this third base and the game. A new round of Zealots and High Templar have reinforced. Vikings now trying to come down as well. Archon trying to retreat. It looks like it will get taken down. Remember, these Archons do not have any upgrades on their shields, which is the most important upgrade for these Archons next to their weapon attack, as the Archons are pretty much getting eaten by these Marines and the Marauders. All right, a new round of Zealots will be coming in, and with this, that should be plenty, and I do mean plenty, of meat and DPS. All right, 3 Archons are in position. There is an EMP Shockwave. There is a Psystorm, though, and a Psystorm both on SCVs and on units. Ghost now going after a Zealot. Archon's now trying to push in. A lower hit point Archon from Grubby, or a lower shield point Archon from Grubby, now backing off. Grubby needs a little bit more energy on those High Templar before he wants to engage. Gonna be about another 30 seconds or so before he pulls or moves off over there. All right, Orbital Command still in position here. Grubby during this time was able to establish up his fourth base over here on the top left, has transferred the majority of his probes over, as they are currently doing long distance mining. Protoss on 4 bases, Terran on 3, Lucifron, things are not looking good for him at all. Zealots, Archons now making their way forward, as we are sitting on 2 Colossus, 2 High Templar, 3 Archons, and I love the unit composition from Grubby. Grubby here making sure that he is not going to get countered by one Silver Bullet type of unit. He's not going to get countered just by Ghost, not get countered just by Vikings. You're going to have a wide array of units, and you're going to have to micro them efficiently in order to take the victory here. A Colossus, walking straight by, could have perhaps been taken down, but not caught. Here we are once more. Grubby still reinforcing. Apologies for the camera. Grubby still reinforcing, and a beautiful High Templar snipe from Lucifron, catching the 2 High Templar there. So Lucifron now in a bit of an advantage in terms of just moments ago, but he is still seriously down in supply. Archons have nearly run out of shields, but they still deal pretty much full damage, and there is the GG coming in from Lucifron. Lucifron losing game 1 in this series. Grubby just on top of his game, finding holes in Lucifron's offense and really took advantage of the fact that Lucifron lost a lot of Vikings very needlessly early in the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1.